Brett Tataryn is joining me today. Brett, how is this fine afternoon for you? And you got to tell me what you've been up to amongst the fact that you're not sitting in a classroom right now.
Today is pretty good. Not too much, just staying in the yard and doing yard work, raking leaves, shoveling snow, working out, shooting pucks, training, running, stuff like that.
So all the common words we've been hearing from most athletes when they don't want to spend time in front of a computer or a textbook, they're finding every which way, shape, or form to get rid of some exercise. We shouldn't be shoveling too much more snow, right, Brett?
No, it's pretty much all gone. More of the leaves now. So
more of the leaves now. So give us a little bit of an idea of what your normal day looks like, knowing you're not in classrooms, but you're still getting your assignments and your work from school down in Pilot Mound.
Normal day would probably wake up early in the morning and eat some breakfast like eggs or bacon and some sort of sandwich, and work out, and then shoot some pucks, train in the yard and run. And after that, around lunchtime, get some schoolwork done. Just a bit more. Don't have very much now, but since they're giving us like three hours of school per week, trying to get it done, get ahead of the game, so have more time to train and do some other fun stuff like video games.
So you hit on two valid points there. Shooting pucks. What are you aiming at?
Well, I have a four-corner shooter. I don't know what to call it, but like a little pocket in the corners of the net, and shooting it from about like 20 feet, 30 feet, blue line area.
Okay. Have you broken any windows since you've been home?
No. I have a big 18 by 18 net behind my net, so
safety first.
Yeah.
Safety first, good. And you mentioned video games, obviously online with some of the boys back home, or what's the game of the month right now?
Yeah, no, actually, game of the month for me right now, Rainbow Six Siege. Play with my brother and my brother's friends all the time. It's pretty fun.
Gets pretty heated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you one of the guys that's winning at the end of the day, or you using choice words at your brother?
No, I just started this. I started playing games just this quarantine, so I'm not very good yet.
Okay. Talk about learning on a computer compared to being in a classroom. What are the advantages and disadvantages you're finding in your early student athlete career, having to educating yourself almost?
Yeah, one of the most hardest things is not being able to ask questions of the teachers and having to just sit at a place where you're not usually working and do your work. And that's probably one of the most difficult things, is just not having a school-like atmosphere to do the work, but at least to get the work done.
You getting less distractions at home, or are you finding other distractions you wouldn't normally find?
Well, I think the time that I do my schoolwork, nobody's in the house but me, so my mom's always doing her online work, and my brother's doing his online schooling. So
older brother, younger brother?
Older. He's 18, turning 19.
So he in university or college then?
No, he's training at Northwest Police Academy.
Oh, perfect. So he's keeping the discipline in the family then.
Yeah.
Okay, hence the reason why he's good at this Rainbow Siege stuff. He's got pretty good skills.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about shrapnel. It's more the actual true gunshot, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears here. Let's talk some hockey with you, Brett, because I know Coach Rick has always been mentioning your name when it comes to being the one of the leaders of the team, one of the veterans on that team. Talk to me about how quickly this team gelled so early in the fall.
Yeah, no. This is one of the most team-like teams I've been on, and just the guys that are everybody's so nice, and they all have their own way of doing things, but I think we all came together pretty quick, and it felt good to be part of a team that takes interest in everybody else.
How different was that this year compared to last?
Last year, we had a bunch of older guys, way more older guys than we did this year, since we only had that one senior. So lots of younger guys to look up to, and they don't know exactly what the hockey away from home is, and I think that makes everybody a bit more following everybody else. So they weren't so riled up to get going. They just wanted to kind of play hockey and get schoolwork done, and they weren't too worried about having too much fun.
We have 3 different leagues or 3 different groups you guys played hockey games in. Obviously, the CSSHL, which was the main league over the course of the year. We'll get to the March run. But the 2 into the States, what league did you and what games did you enjoy most playing?
The league I enjoyed playing in the most was the North American Prep League. Since those guys are 19-year-olds getting almost into junior at their age, and playing against the really good teams like Valor and Colorado Springs, and it's just unbelievable to watch them play hockey and play against them. And I feel like as a young guy last year and some of the young guys on the team this year, it's pretty crazy that they're 15 years old playing against junior caliber guys. So getting them prepared for hockey in the future.
Getting you prepared throughout the season, there was that one weekend where you guys were on the road. I think it was the last weekend of CSSHL action you had where you didn't come out as a victor, more losing in that weekend. That taste in your mouth, you quickly got rid of it when it came to Penticton.
Yeah, no, in the last 3 or 4 games there against Prairie, I think we came in a bit overconfident and got into our heads, and we lost 3-3, I think, and we got all ripped pretty bad, and we weren't very happy with ourselves either. So we got back to practice as soon as we got back, and Rick worked us, and Ernie got his drills going, and had gained confidence going into playoffs. And we were just told to forget about it, put it in the past, and we ended up playing Prairie the one game in playoffs, and probably one of the toughest games of the year. And we came out victorious in that one and sent us to the finals.
Yeah, let's talk about that Prairie game, because you had to avenge yourselves more than not. And you also played the team that was in the first game you played and the same team in the finals. How were you able to compare both of those opponents? Well, first off, I got to ask you, which opponent was the hardest one that you matched up against? Because every team you played throughout the year, you had winning records. Going into Penticton, how difficult was it knowing that you were the 1 seed with a target on your back?
I mean, I like being the top dog in the bunch, but to your question about who I think was a harder team to play, Prairie was pretty hard. We always had tough games with them all year, and coming into the last games there, we're kind of not scared, but we're worried about how they would get their confidence going. And we haven't won too many games in the last few games in the Canadian League, so we were worried that they would catch up and then there'd be a tie for first. But we ended up keeping our number 1 spot and playing edge in the first game, which we played edge in the first game last year. I was here too, and we won in the overtime game. But this first game was a bit different for us. I mean, we have to travel 22 hours on bus, but I think those guys took an airplane to get to Penticton. So I'm just going to say that we're a bit tired. I think all the guys can agree with me on that one. And we just didn't have the jump we should have had in that first game.
But you so that first game was that loss. You didn't have a loss the remainder of that championship run. If you lost again, there wouldn't have been a championship. That's the bottom line. Was that the message Coach Rick gave you guys after that game?
Yeah, I think, well, he didn't even have to tell us that. We told the boys, the leadership group told the guys that we need to do what we need to do, and we had to win games or else if we wanted to play in the finals. And we jumped back on our horse pretty quick and started winning some hockey games, and we gained confidence throughout the whole playoffs and taking out big teams like CDA, and that gave us confidence. And playing Prairie in that morning game and the semifinal game, it was pretty antsy. Everybody was up early in the morning, doing our homework, staying active throughout the day, eating good meals, pregame meals, and I'm just happy that we did what we did.
How hard is it to go to the championship run knowing you still have schoolwork to get done?
Well, I don't think the guys might tell you a bit different, but I don't really think very many of us were focused on school that weekend.
I was going to say that.
I kind of just tucked them away a bit extra kept them in my backpack for that particular weekend, but some guys were really behind, so I guess I had to do some work. But for the most part, no, I was more worried about hockey than school that weekend.
So the weekend ends on the Monday. You're playing Edge the second time around. You've already lost to them once. You personally, were there any jitters, or were you just ready for game time, that first puck drop, just to get going?
There was some jitters, but they weren't necessarily nervous jitters. I was kind of angry, and I was ready to get going. I just wanted to hit the first guy I saw and get myself going in the game because I was excited for that. And I told myself there's no way we can't lose these guys again. So after telling myself that, I think we got the first goal and for us and tied the game. And I think after that we took off and everybody else started playing their best hockey of the year. And I think the leadership group again, Colby Bear got kicked out of the game for a weak call. I didn't like the call, and I don't think anybody would agree with the call, but he's a big key on our team, and there's some big shoes to fill there. So some of the guys that weren't necessarily the top dog players stepped up and filled in his shoes pretty well, and we came out with the win.
Davon puts that game-winning goal in with about 5 minutes left in the third. Coach Rick tells me that it feels like it's an overtime goal. It's a game winner. You know you got it in the bag. But you as a player, you still have to play out that last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
How intense was that?
The thing is, after that goal, the good setup we had in the power play, Davon was up top, and I got a bad pass off the boards, and I thought it was gonna come out of the zone, and I had to keep it in and pass it to Davon. And I just remember telling him to shoot the puck. I just kept saying shoot, and after that goal, I think our bench exploded, and we're all super happy. And I think the same guys that were on the ice for that didn't come off for the whole 5 minutes, and we're all tired. And as a centerman in the last draw in the game, my stomach was getting upset from the nerves, and telling myself I have to win the draw to get the puck out of the zone in the last minute and a half there. So it's exciting, but it's also nerve-wracking.
You talk about jumping off the bench for joy. That was the second largest jump for joy. The largest one was when you saw zeros after 60 minutes. Tell me how that felt, Brett, knowing that you guys had just won the championship.
One of the first things I said was I couldn't believe it. All the guys were just there, and I was one of the guys on the ice, and just looking around, seeing our bench come flying towards us in the corner, and it was unreal. And it didn't feel like it was real life, and my teammates just being there with us on the ice. It was pretty crazy, and just knowing that we won the championship, being the best team in the league, it felt really good.
Do you remember who you first hugged and who you first saw, and what left your fight? Did the helmet leave first? Did the stick get thrown up in the air? Do you remember that time?
Yeah, no, I can remember it clearly. I threw my stick about 30 feet in the air, and first person I tried to hug was Curtis Coffin because he was right behind me holding on to my jersey, and I ripped my helmet off, and I think my helmet might have landed back on his head, but no, he's the first guy I remember, and after that, I think the next guy I hugged was Ernie. So, telling Ernie, couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe we just won the championship, and it was just unbelievable.
How important is it to see? I mean, you hear about Ernie, like you mentioned Ernie twice now. His drills. He's not a vocal person. I don't get many words out of Ernie when I talk to him. Having that said, though, as a coach and being with him these last couple of years, what have you learned most from Coach Ernie?
Well, like you said, he doesn't say much, but when he says something, it means something a lot. The words he says are pretty powerful, and but I've learned that the way he likes to play, he says if you play hard, if you don't work hard for me, I won't work hard for you. So he's the D side of the bench. Rick's up front with us forwards, and just hearing him yell, just hearing him rip the D apart in the game during the game, and when someone messes up, it's pretty funny. But if I were a D man, I wouldn't make that mistake again if he yelled at me. So
that's great to hear. We'll take a quick break. We're talking with Brett Tataryn, a forward who also is celebrating a birthday this past week. We'll get to that right after this quick short break here on the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy show. Back with Brett Tataryn, forward, one of the leaders on this team. In our previous segment, we talked about the leadership group. Brett, tell me who that leadership group is and why it was so important for this young group.
Well, this year, Tynan and I were one of the few guys that were returning, along with Colby, and us three were the leaders on the group, and being the returners, I think there's a lot of weight on our back, and we're having to lead the team the right way and just show the right path.
As I recall, there wasn't a letter on any of your jerseys, correct?
Yep.
Was that something done by design by Coach Rick?
I'm not too sure about that. The girls had letters. I don't really think it means anything. It's more of a team thing. Not everybody else has to know who it is. You shouldn't have to have a letter if you're a good enough leader. And so sometimes it's not very good, because sometimes it can make a group feel jealous, or it can make someone feel like they're not as important, but that's totally not the case. Everybody on our team was of the same importance, and I believe that you don't need a letter to be a captain.
You've answered my next question perfectly, Brett, so I don't have to get into it. This team gelling so well, the chemistry so well. I got to ask you, as a forward, Coach Rick had 3 goaltenders going through a revolving door, it looked like. How did it feel knowing that you knew which goaltender was starting, but how did you know how you would play in front of that goalie?
Well, there's some guys, Jordy, when I play with him, I'm really worried about winning my draws, because he lets me know if I need to start winning my draws in the D zone, and he's one of those quiet goalies, and he just sticks to his own game and worries about stopping pucks. And Chenner is a pretty electric goalie, and he does his job, and he does it well. And when you score, you can hear him from the other end, and he gets excited with the boys. And Jose, I mean, the kid's pretty good. He's hard to score on in practice, and it shows in the games. And being such a small goalie, and he's pretty good for his size.
Why are you so humble? I have to ask that question. What made you so humble?
Thank you. I don't know. I think it's just my background. My dad and my mom were both very humble people, and just them teaching me the right way. I feel like it helps me in the long run. Being a nice person, being humble, it gets people to like you and gets people on your side just in case you need them in the long run.
There's no humbleness when it comes to being on the ice, though. I mean, 20 goals, 40 assists, 66 PIMs, a force to be reckoned with in the front. Did you enjoy, I mean, of course you enjoyed playing with Colby and your other line mates there. Do you enjoy the bigger guy feeling, or do you enjoy playing with the faster 10, 11, 12 guys?
Well, I'll play with anybody because I like playing with anybody, and whoever I get put with, it's for a reason. But some cases I'm with the quicker guys on the team, and that's if we're on a power play or we need to get a goal scored. I'll be on the line with quicker guys. But if we're down a few goals and we need to get something going, the bigger guys will step out. You know, me and Colby, Elder, we'll get out on the ice, and we'll try to work the other team and try to get something going.
What is it about Elder's game that improved the most? I mean, I remember watching him. He was a little bit timid at first at the beginning of the year, but then it's like the book opened up and he just started playing his best hockey at the end of February and March.
Yep. Me and Garrett played together for the first half of the season, and I love playing with him because he's always open, and I could always find him, and he improved a lot. Like you said, his skating was it was all right, but then after the season, he got really good, and he can skate fast, and his shooting got really good. He was out on the ice whenever he could, shooting pucks, and I like to play with a guy who likes to shoot pucks. So
that's a good thing to know. That brings me to my next question. The 2-on-1, are you shooting or are you passing?
Well, trying to get to the point where I can shoot more, but if it's open, I'll always pass to the guy. I love being a playmaker, but being one of the older guys in the team and having to take the chances and not have to worry about getting yelled at by Rick because he's told me a few times to shoot the puck because I should have shot it instead of pass it, but I'm working on it.
Where do you get your tenacity from, mom or dad?
Mom.
What does dad bring to what part of dad's character does he emulate in you?
Well, I think my dad's work ethic. The guy's never okay with just settling on something. He always has to be doing something, and it's a good thing. And he likes getting things complete properly. And I think I picked that up from him, and just doing things ahead of time and making sure they're done properly rather than too fast. And just growing up with a good dad is a good thing.
Absolutely. Good enough just never is, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Your older brother, I'm sure you guys probably had some fisticuffs, a couple of mini hockey episodes growing up. Who won?
Well, growing up, I think as a kid, I would end up leaving playing mini sticks, crying or something because he would slash me, or something would happen. He'd hit me too hard, and Owen would usually win in that part, but I was pretty good. I can score some goals.
So would he strap on the pads, or is it something you would do?
Well, I mean, he doesn't really play hockey, but if he was being such a good enough brother, he'd probably strap on the pads for me.
Right on. You probably get some vindictiveness back with a couple of hard slappers.
No, I don't know. he didn't learn
He
how
won't
to.
own up to it. He won't own up to it. Attaboy.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, let's get a little dirty here, Brett. Favorite meal cooked at the dorm?
Favorite meal? Well, for supper, I like when we have the steaks. That's pretty good. I like the steaks at the supper time. Before practice, I love to have chicken wraps when chicken wraps are made for us, and it's a quick bite to eat, so we don't have such a full stomach heading into practice after school. And breakfast is I love waffles and eggs and bacon and stuff like that.
Tell me about these magical energy balls that the girls were bringing you to games. What made you? What was the go-to in those?
Uh well, I think that's Marcy and the girls' special ingredients in there. But I would have a few, and it's good when you're not eating too much before a game. You just get a quick snack in between periods or before the game, just to fill you up a bit, so you have some sort of energy to work off of. So
I saw those brought into a game between the second and third, and I tried to sneak one, but they said no, no dice. It's all for the players. So I totally understand. They're quite scrumptious, I've been told.
yeah,
Your favorite meal now that you're back at home, Brett?
favorite meal at home. We've had steak a few times, but anything with meat in it, I love. Had chicken breast a few times, and tortellini's pretty good. Like pasta and tomato sauce is pretty good. So
What are you listening to in your off time without focusing on school? What's the favorite music right now?
uh, uh, two of my favorite rappers right now. I like rap music. I'm a big Mac Miller guy. Kid Cudi. Those two are pretty
Okay.
big for me right now. So
Okay. What's the hardest subject for you to be learning online without the help of your teachers, as much as it is?
I say applied math because it was already online. Well, not online, but our teacher was not in the class. It was on a projector screen, and she was in a different school. But it was already hard. But since we're at home, she can't like teach us without. She has to send us videos of her doing stuff and previously, and the assignments. Math especially is hard without having a teacher to ask questions. So.
No doubt, no doubt. What part of school do you miss most? Is it the classroom and the socializing, or is it the fact that when school's over, you got the boys in the locker room and you can hit the ice?
Uh, well, my favorite part of school is probably just socializing, not just with teammates, but the people in Pilot Mound, like the town kids. They're nice people, and uh, anytime you're around good people, it's makes everybody else good and happy. So yeah, when school's over, it's a shame that we can't experience the summertime aspect of everything and going swimming at the bridge, jumping off the bridge, and just relaxing with the guys, not having to worry about school. It's school is more of on a low at the end of the season, so it's pretty nice not having to worry about it too much.
What is the first thing you look forward to doing, knowing that we all staying safe now for a good reason, but we know that we can start seeing our friends, seeing the rest of our family? What's the first thing you look forward to doing?
First thing I look forward to doing is probably hanging out with my friends from my area and my hometown friends. I haven't been able to see them very much since I've been living away from home for 2 years, and I like hanging out with them and just doing fun stuff like hanging out and sometimes working together. If I need to get a job, I'll probably end up working with one of my friends from back home. So
Absolutely. Last question I'm going to ask you on this topic, Brett. When it comes to talking to your teammates, who is the first group, or who are the people, your teammates, you look forward to seeing before they graduate, if you have that chance?
uh
I mean, Tynan's the only one that's graduating, correct?
yeah.
So, I mean, would you, I mean, Would you like to be saying goodbye to them? Congratulations. What's the one thing you miss saying to the boys that you can't say over a computer?
Yeah, no, I miss Tynan, especially Tynan, because me and him did lots of stuff together. Like me and him helped coach a young hockey team, like 8 and under, I think it was, or something like that. So just the memories that we'll have, and since he'll be moving out and not playing midget hockey anymore next year, he'll probably be playing junior. And no, I wish I could have been there to congratulate him on graduating, but it's just a shame that we couldn't.
You're right. It's a bit of an interesting time. I got to ask you this last question. What is it like being a student athlete at a hockey academy such like that in Pilot Mound?
Being a student athlete in Pilot Mound, since they were so close to the school, it's every day you're walking to the school, 10-minute walk to the school, and maybe less. Depends on the weather. Especially in wintertime, it's pretty grueling out there, and you have to walk in the foot-deep snow. And
I'm amazed that none of you guys wear winter boots walking to the rink. All of you have got these, dress shoes on, the dress socks and everything, and I'm like, guys, I mean, Rick can't be that strict on you for not wearing winter boots.
No, we can wear winter boots, just not to games. But I think our guys are pretty into the style part of going to school.
Oh, you're definitely styling. I've seen those suits you guys are wearing are pretty darn good. I mean, there must be a really good tailor in Pilot Mound to make sure they fit all appropriately.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Going into next season, when we do get back on the ice, Brett, what part of your game needs to improve on and off the ice?
Like I said, being told to shoot more. I'm going to work on shooting more. In the chances I get to shoot more, I'm going to not dish it if I don't have to, but getting faster as well, getting the foot speed up. You can never be too good at something, so always working hard at everything. It can't hurt. And shooting pucks, you can never be too good at shooting pucks. Never. No one has too hard of a shot. No one has too accurate a shot. So always working to get those aspects up.
Last question, or last thing I'm going to ask you, Brett, before I let you go. Would you like to say hi to anybody you haven't seen from school, or any message you'd like to send to the town of Pilot Mound since you haven't been back in almost a month?
Yeah, no, I hope everybody in Pilot Mound is healthy and safe, and staying in their houses and not getting sick. And to everybody in the school and my teammates, I miss you guys, and I hope that I can resume my midget hockey career in Pilot Mound next year. But I mean, nothing's set in stone yet, but that's definitely an option for next year.
Brett, I want to thank you for your time on this. I appreciate everything you've done. Congratulations on raising that trophy and bringing that banner to the academy with the rest of your crew. Good luck, you as well. Stay safe. And, I forgot to ask you, tell you, happy belated birthday. How was the celebration?
Didn't celebrate too much. I mean, Dad had to work, and everybody was doing their online work and schooling at home. So I went to go visit my grandma and just go say hi to her and have some cake with her, and just being around family mostly. And can't go out anywhere, so I'm not that type of guy who goes out anywhere anyways. But no, it was just a low-key birthday.
Well, there we have it. Brett Tataryn with the male varsity U17 prep team now, as you're going to be known as next year. So, again, congratulations on a great season, and stay healthy and safe during the offseason. Brett, look forward to talking to you as we get closer to when ice finally comes back. This has been the Pilot Mound Hockey Academy show with Brett Tataryn.